What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to 49 Faithfully. We're your hosts, Miriah Lee and Teran Lewis. TL, what's up, my guy? Happy Sunday. How you doing?
Happy Sunday. I'm doing awesome. I wanted to say something real quick. I don't know if you had the headlines, but it just hit my phone. Um, I know we're a 49ers channel when Mariah and I are on, but this is still it still talks about the NFL, and this is some tragic news. The Ravens offensive line coach has passed away this morning. And, I just want to give prayers to him and his family. Shout out to him for for the work he's done. Baltimore's always been a tough team.
Yeah.
Always had a pretty good offensive line. So yeah, sucks to see. I mean, he was 70 years old. Hope he lived a good life. But yeah, just this is things where as much as we love football, real life still happens every single day. So
Yeah.
shout out to him, but prayers for him and his family, and prayers for the Baltimore Ravens organization.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And yeah, prayers for his family, for everybody obviously that's affected by that.
Mhm.
And hope he rests in peace. Chat, what's up? Happy Sunday. Hope everybody is doing great. Hope you've had a great weekend so far. Hashtag FF to get into the first giveaway. Y'all know the deal. Throwback, appreciate you. First in the door. Throwback and Dawn, these two, they're always fighting to see, who can be here. And look, he beat her barely by 3 minutes. No, by 2
Dang,
minutes. 2 minutes.
dang.
John, what's good? Hope you're doing well. Hope the girls, the family's well. Dawn's daughter had her birthday party yesterday. Looks like they had a great time. I saw
Awesome.
the pictures and she was so like, those pictures you see in the kids, you can just like feel the joy coming through the pictures, like when she was holding up her, her gifts after she would open them, she just had the biggest smile on her face. Like you could tell, like she was so happy as could be. It's like, those are the moments, that why we bust our ass, why we have to do all the things
Mhm.
that we do are for those moments right there for our kids. And so it was very awesome getting to see the pictures. And I know they all had a great time. Dawn said that the car was so like looked like the presents were about to fall out the windows and stuff, because the car was so full of gifts that she had got. So
That's a
that's
blessing.
great. Yep,
Yeah.
definitely. Niakila, what's up? Appreciate you coming through as always. Brandon, what up? What up? Um, he says this will be an interesting football season because it's off to a crazy start in college football. And even it's been a crazy just through the preseason. It's already been crazy for
Yeah.
NFL. So it's definitely going to be a great season. Brandon's a Jets fan. So um, I'm going to have him come on the show with me and Ty that we do on Tuesdays the week prior to us, playing the Jets for week 1.
It's gonna be a
Worked
great
out
game.
perfectly. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers coming back looking like he hasn't even been out. Like, what the hell? Like, that guy is old, just came back from a serious injury, and you wouldn't even know.
Talent is talent. You
Crazy.
know.
Yeah. Like, I heard somebody say the other day, Aaron Rodgers is your quarterback's favorite quarterback, and there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you think about it? And it's true. Like you hear a lot of quarterbacks in the league talk up Aaron Rodgers, and obviously they were robbed last season with him getting
Yeah.
hurt right off the gate. So like I'm excited to see what the Jets end up doing as long as they can all stay healthy. They have a hell of a team over there.
Heck yeah, that defense is good. They got some weapons on offense. They got a healthy quarterback who to me is in my top 5 to 7 all time. Not just he's been great in his career. So it's gonna be an interesting game.
Yeah, should be a good one. What's up, John B? Good to see you. Rob D, for only 30 million a year, you too can feed a wide receiver. Appreciate you coming through. I have to read it every time now until
It's
we
funny
no
to me.
longer have to see it.
My gosh, yeah.
um, as you can see, this little banner floating across the screen there. If you need, get ready for the season, get your merch, he makes anything. He obviously specializes in 49ers gear, but he draws everything out. If you go to the site, you can see what he has posted right now, currently www.faithfulgear209.com. Use code 49faithful for $5 off your purchase. If you want something that you don't see in the store, say, Brandon, Jets fan, and you want Robert to draw you up, a design, say Aaron Rodgers, shirt, whatever. That's definitely something he can get done. And that, it doesn't have to be NFL, whether it's WNBA, baseball, NBA, it doesn't matter. He can do it. So the very last website that you see at the end, that's where you can contact him about, other gear getting made. So yeah, make sure you hit him up. Very nice guy, makes awesome gear. I have tons of stuff from him already. So yeah, make sure you guys get ready for the season. Hashtag FF, get in the first giveaway. Let me change this banner real quick. So for the giveaways, what we got going on today, let me show you. First one is going to be these two, CMC behind the numbers and Jake Moody rookie card. Second giveaway will be Debo Thrillers and the stud Jair Brown rated rookie. And we will close the show with, we got Brock Purdy Kings, looking like a card straight from Vegas. We have the art of these two goats here. It's signed by the artist and numbered. And then the last winner will take both of these. This is one of my favorite cards currently out.
Tutties.
Best Tutties instead of best buddies. So the final winner will take both of these. One winner takes both Best Tutties and the CMC Prismatic. So make sure you get in that first giveaway, hashtag FF. So before we get into, all kinds of football stuff and whatever, and then I forget about stuff I need to tell you guys, let me get it out of the way. First things first. So I think yesterday or the day before, I was watching some games, cooking, and there was nothing really on live, Spaces or YouTube, whatever that I wanted to listen to. So I was looking through YouTube, and for some reason, I don't know why, but it popped up one of like the very first shows that I did on this channel. And I'm like, oh, and normally I hate hearing myself talk. I don't want to even watch back, even though I have to sometimes, obviously you need to watch back to see what's going on and see what you need to fix or whatnot. But it's been so long since I watched one of those first episodes. And so I'm like, well, let me check this out and see what was going on. Man, this show has grown so much. And, me, not to just toot my own horn, but me as a host, as, just somebody talking football, whatnot, as a content creator, has grown so much. So I wanted to start by just saying thank you for, those of you that have been around since, the very beginning, day one, and went through those rocky days with us, right? The growing, the learning, the figuring shit out, the camera, shitty camera issues, the lighting issues, the mic, all kinds of shit that would happen, and, that you guys are real ones for, putting up with us, going through all that and sticking through it and being here, still today, because I know that there's a lot of people that were watching this show at the very beginning who aren't around anymore. And so I just wanted to give a special shout out to, you day ones that have been around here, that rode through all the ups and downs with us and has stuck through everything. And then obviously those that have come, along through, whether you joined through the middle of it, whether you just joined yesterday, you guys are super important as well. And, I hope that you guys continue on this ride with us, and, just know that y'all are getting the best version of this show that it's ever been, because the first day is, woo-hoo, I suggest that you don't go back and watch it.
That's funny.
Appreciate you all. Much love as always. You guys know there's some of you that I ride so hard for, and you guys mean so much to me. So I appreciate you guys. You guys know who you are. And yeah, the next thing, there is so the very first year that I started the channel, I had started a fantasy league. We're currently going into the 4th year. So that league, the people that were in it the very first year, they always get next, dibs the next year because it rolls over. So it's pretty much the same group. There's probably like 4 of us that have changed, but that league. So pretty much, there's not much opportunities to give people to get into it. It's a money league, and most of us stay in it the whole time. So I wanted to do something for the channel, for those of you that aren't in that league, that don't get the opportunity to play fantasy football in that league with us. I'm going to start a free, well, I already created it, so it's already there, but I'm going to start a free fantasy league for just, people that watch the show, people of the, Faithfully in Vegas family. And like I said, it's going to be a free entry, but the winners, I'm going to do first place, second place, and third place will all get prizes at the end. So it's not like we're just going to be playing for anything. It's obviously not going to be money, but I'm going to make it worth it for us to, have fun and be able to play and give the rest of you guys an opportunity to join that aren't in the other league. So with that being said, it's going to be a first come, first serve. What's up, Brian? It's going to be first come, first serve situation. So I currently have it set at a 12-person team. It's going to be on the NFL fantasy app. Obviously, that leaves, I'm one of the spots, so that leaves 11 spots open. If we do have an overcrowding of people joining, I can extend it up to a 14-person league. If we don't have enough people, but by the time we need to draft, then I can always put it down to a 10-person league, 8-person league, whatever. So we'll kind of just play it by, ear, see how many of you guys are interested. And if you guys are on Twitter, DM me, let me know that you guys want to join. Like I said, it's free to enter. And we'll do it like that. If for whatever reason, if you're not on Twitter, you can email me, Miriah, my first name, MIRIAH 35 @gmail.com. Put in there fantasy league, something about, something about fantasy. So that because I get trillions of emails a day. I don't check my emails. So that way I can just go search for it and find you guys. So
maybe put in there like free fantasy or something. Huh?
Yeah.
Free fantasy will work.
Yeah. Something about fantasy in there. Let me put my email here so you guys know. But if you're on Twitter, that's the best way for me to be able to get in contact and for me to, keep track of stuff. So I would rather you message me on Twitter if you're on there. But if not, then email me. Okay, Brandon, I'll write you down. If you guys are in chat right now and you want to join, then put it in chat and you guys will be the first ones, first come, first serve. Like I said, you guys will be the first on the list right now. All right. I think that might be all of the little talks. I did go when watching that show. It did remind me that I used to start the episodes and just kind of have like a little personal segment where, I would talk to you guys about whatever was going on. And I kind of do want to bring that back. I don't want to, there's plenty of shows that you can go watch that can be strictly X's and O's or, whatever. Obviously, if you're watching this show, the kind of vibe we're about. It's a more of a personal thing. You guys know that, I'm going to talk to you guys, whatever. So I do want to bring that back to, I don't want to, as the channel grows, forget about, the roots of the channel either. So that's what, the good thing about watching that old episode was. All right, hashtag FF. We're drawing. Let's draw this first giveaway winner. And then we'll talk some football, guys. All right, Don, if you see people TL saying they want to join, let me know, please.
Okay.
So I got Brandon and Don.
Looks like Steve-O too. He's raising his hand, but you gotta let me know what that means,
Steve-O,
brother.
are you or not?
He's putting his hand up on the emoji. So
this ain't school. All right. So I'm going to draw for Moody first and then CMC. Again, this is for these two right here. Moody, CMC. All right. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck.
Yeah. So Steve-O confirmed if it's a 12 team, he'd like to do it. So I guess if you have to drop, he'd be one of the first ones you drop because he only wants to do 12 teams. Papa J.
Okay. Jay, congrats. I think that's his, I don't know if guy or female, but I think it's their first winning. I'm going to assume a guy from the name, but it's dangerous to assume these days. So
yeah.
Moody is yours. All right. For CMC, good luck. There seems to be this little pattern on this show that whoever wins the first set of giveaways usually ends up winning more giveaways throughout the show. So we'll see if that continues. Dustin, congrats. Dustin's been on a roll. He won the shirt from Inspector Dabbit giveaway. He's won several different giveaways that I've had on Twitter. He's been winning it up. Congrats. So last week, remember, we had all girls that won.
It was ladies' night.
Every single giveaway was won by a lady. So fellas, you're starting this day off better. If Jay is.
Papa J is indeed a gentleman.
All right. So we got two. Look, I already even had a bag labeled for Dustin. How about that? Less work I gotta do because I just packaged up his giveaways. All right, congrats. I'll get the other giveaways set up. Let's talk about this game versus the Raiders. Obviously, it ended in a tie, which is crazy. But obviously they're not going to play into overtime, during a preseason game. But the ending of that game was hella wild. The 49ers guys out there, obviously, if you're in on that play, those guys are really fighting for roster spots, and so they're out there doing everything they can. And so I give them credit, they really tried to pull out everything to end the game with a score and make sure that it wasn't a tied game. Partway through, obviously, they got a flag thrown and, that kind of messed up the whole thing. But the effort was there. So you got to give them credit for that. And then the post-game interviews in the locker room, all the guys were talking about that, about that play. Talking about exactly that, the guys showing effort and you got to give them credit that they're out there fighting and, that they're showing that, that that it means something to them, right? They're this is their career. This is their future on the line. So, just give me your thoughts on how you felt about this game. Did you see, anything you were not wanting to see? How you feeling?
Well, Joshua Dobbs is the unquestioned QB2 in my opinion. That man.
Well, we're gonna get into rosters, so don't be doing that yet.
He looked good. So it's gonna be. I love it. I like the fact that they played on defense, they played. They set all the starters. They
Mm.
let all the people probably on the bubble go on there and play. And yeah, I loved it. I mean, um, just I mean, it started off a little rocky, the way the way things were going and stuff. But it seems like after we settled down and stuff looked good. What's his name? Jordan Mason, man, he looked good. It's just there's certain people on there that stood out to me. But we're gonna get into the roster situation, like Mariah said. But I'm just glad, even though it's preseason game, I still hate losing to the Raiders. So I'm glad
Mhm.
that we at least ended in a tie, so they won't be talking any kind of trash. Because as you know, Mariah and I, we live in Raider country, so bunch of Raiders fans that a lot of them jumped on the bandwagon though, so they get no respect from me. So yeah, it was a good game and no major injuries. That's what it all came out to as well. So yeah.
Well, hopefully there were
Oh
two
well,
injuries. We're still
yeah,
waiting
not yeah,
to
hopefully no
hear back
major ones. Yeah,
on
yeah,
Leonard Floyd and Yetur
yeah,
Gross-Matos. And
yeah,
sucks because Leonard Floyd, somebody that's we've all talked about. Oh, like we're so glad to get him because he's been healthy. He's always healthy, played all these games straight.
yeah. I
And then to
know.
see him get into a freaking preseason game and get hurt. And then the guy that's on the depth chart as his backup ends up
Yeah,
getting hurt basically on the same freaking play with the same knee injury as well. It's just like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Like, we've had
yeah.
such shit luck with injuries
It's
already.
been
And then
terrible.
now this. And the good news is, though, Leonard was back out on the sidelines,
Yes.
after going to the locker room. The camera did show him out there smiling with Kyle, talking it up, whatever. So hopefully his isn't serious. I don't remember though seeing Gross Matos back out there.
Yeah, I didn't either.
So that don't mean that he wasn't. I just don't
Yeah.
recall seeing him back out there. So if that's the case, it would lead me to believe that his is, more serious than
Boys.
Floyd's. But
Yeah.
I'm expecting, obviously they're not gonna, we can't find out anything over the weekend, so I'm expecting to hear sometime tomorrow, Monday, back, as the results from the MRIs or whatnot. And
Hmm.
so, we're holding out hope that it's nothing too serious for either of those guys, because that D line, man, we need those guys. So
Getting thin
um
at the D line. Yeah.
yeah, it is. Let's go through and start off with the rookies. I'm going to pull up so we can go through one by one and not forget anybody. What's up, Kali? I see you. Sin, what's up? Let me make sure nobody else snuck in here. All right. Hashtag smile to get into the second giveaway. This is for the Debo Thriller and the pink Jair Brown rated rookie. So get in there. Hashtag smile. All right. Let me share this. And let's just go through each rookie and see if they've done enough through, the training camp and preseason, from what obviously we've been able to see, to earn their spot on the 53, or if we think, they'll try to get them back onto the practice squad, or, other, if there's
Hmm.
other possibility for them. So let's start obviously with Ricky. We know the story here, right? Like, we haven't
Yeah.
got to see him. He's been hurt. It did come out that the shoulder injury that he has been the same injury that he had in college, that he had again at the start, in mini camp, and that he now has again through training camp. So it's this shoulder dislocation. It's already been 3 times within that little span that he's aggravated and, re-dislocated or whatever this shoulder. Kyle obviously says, "Oh, we're going to play it safe," but at the same time then says we expect him to be at practice next week. So I don't know. Obviously high hopes. We finally get a first round draft pick, right? We're all excited. And then they draft a wide receiver. And right at the time, you still don't know what's going to happen with Brandon Ayuk, what's, all this that's going on. So they draft a wide receiver, not the position a lot of us would have went for, but considering the circumstances, I understand. However, you're not expecting him to get injured, especially my whole thing is they're drafting this guy like, okay, if we trade Brandon Ayuk, you're going to need him to step up into that number one wide receiver role, right? And yet Brandon Ayuk is mostly healthy his entire career so far. And you're replacing him with a guy that can't even stay healthy through a freaking training camp practice, let alone a game where he's getting hit. Like, come on. Hopes are obviously that these injuries we don't ever see them again. But knowing the 49ers' luck in injuries, I don't know. Is this a situation where this injury thing is a bigger concern and they do that little red shirt situation? Or do you think he's making the 53?
Oh, by default, he's making the 53. Even if he has to start it on the pup list, short term IR or whatever, it's only got to miss like 3 games. He's making the 53 man. So, and that is not going to be an issue. I am worried about the shoulder a little bit, and I said this at last show, fans, it's okay to worry. It's okay to question, worrying and question does not equal giving up on somebody. Okay. So, but we were just talking about this on Spaces where it's like, I get it. Like you see something in a player, but it's like, man, when you're spending a first round pick where a player is available for a 5th-year option, those injuries got to be on top of your list as far as question marks. You know what I mean? Like, I was hoping that we learned that from the Javon Kinlaw situation, where it's like, well, Javon Kinlaw had knee injuries and it didn't stop him in college. Yeah, but it did in the pros. And same thing with this situation. Yeah, you're not playing with all professionals, even though D1 football is absolutely amazing. They're still not professionals. Now you're with professionals. Now you're going to be hit. You're going to be hit by full-grown men. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that he has his injury and he hasn't got on the field yet, and he's of the older age too. He's already 25 years old. He's a guy that came in a little bit later because he was in college for like 6 years. He's a little older, but so it's one of those things where I hope they get this right. Hopefully it's a smart thing. We're sitting here. I know it's frustrating as fans because we want to see what our first round pick can do, but maybe it's for the best. Maybe they're just like, what, we're going to get this fully healed. You had this injury in college. We don't want the same thing going on while you're now in the pros getting hit by full grown men. So, maybe we're looking at the short-term situation right now and being frustrated, but it might be amazing for long-term success. So we need to be patient, stop calling this man a bust and all this other stuff because the man hasn't even showed you what he can do yet. But like I said, by default, he's making this team.
Yeah, I'd rather them keep him out a little bit and like practice next week is not, I don't think, giving him enough time to really make sure this shit's healed. Like, if you've already seen, okay, we've given it this much time, we put him back out there and he re-injured it again right away. Like, why are you still like, give him some more freaking time, like, I don't know. I would hate to see them rush him back and now he's getting injured again and it's more serious and he's going to need surgery and yada, yada, yada. And this whole fucking spiel that we're used to. So hopefully, like I said, this rest, he heals and we never have to deal with it again. That's the hopes, right? Let's see how this one plays out. Next, where are we? We got round 2 cornerback Renardo Green has been a total stud. He's been everything that I could have actually hoped that he would be when he was drafted, and probably more, because I wasn't expecting that they were going to kind of put him in this, Diamador Lenore role where they have him already playing outside and slot. And, they even said in the presser, like, we obviously, rookies, they're trying to keep their head above water at this point. They're trying to learn the playbook. They're trying to learn this. They're trying to, do this. But with Renardo Green, they said we threw everything at him that we possibly could so that he could learn it all now. And by the time the season comes, like, yeah, he might be flustered. He might have too much on his plate right now, but it's better him do it and have it right now than when the season starts. So by all accounts, he's excelled both outside and inside, which is great because now, depending on where they want to put Diamador Lenore and certain situations, if they want to move him inside on certain plays, they have somebody that they can trust to play either spots. And you're not in a situation where Ambry Thomas is your third guy to come off the bench. And, so Bernardo Green has been great. There's absolutely no way in hell he doesn't make this 53-man roster. And he's already, I think, passed quite a few people at the end of this cornerback depth chart.
Yeah, he's definitely going to make the roster. I have him right now as like a top four corner on this team already. He's not going anywhere. I love he plays like an old school type of football for me. He's real physical. He likes to press, right there at Florida State, they're known for being like a physical defense year in and year out, although it didn't look like it yesterday against Georgia Tech when they lost on that upset. But yeah, I like Bernardo Green a lot. One thing me and you have talked about this draft class is like the seniority aspect of it, because we've drafted, like seniors, fifth year seniors, guys that are a little bit older that have been there, because I think the developing is a little bit easier. So yeah, he's definitely going to make it. The only thing, and I know this will work on, he's in great position. He doesn't get beat. The only thing that he needs to work on, because I know they're going to be flag happy, is that he needs to do a better job of turning his head around. Like, that's the only thing, because he has everything else I feel down packed. But I remember we were playing the first preseason game against the Saints or whatever. Yeah, that Saints game. And then I thought for sure they're going to call a flag on him when he jumped up and had his hands up and he kind of interfered with the ball from the receiver, and the receiver tried to catch it over him. I was like, oh, they're going to throw a flag, but they let him play. So I was kind of happy about that. But yeah, as long as he can clean that up a little bit, I have no worries about this man. I love his game. And once again, our first two draft picks, I have no worries about them not making this team. He'll be a 53-man spot for sure.
What's up, Jerry? That issue with turning your head around is an issue for a lot of corners coming out of college, because it's something they don't call into college. They don't call when they're in college, and they have to change what they're used to doing once they get into the pros. Some are able to do it flawlessly, and some struggle and continue to get penalties all throughout their pro career. So hopefully he's one that can, get it done right, because like you said, he's been great everywhere else. And really stepped up in, that's a position we needed going into the draft. Like, okay, who's, we have Diamador Lenore that can play either. So, are they going to draft the guy to play outside? Are they going to draft the guy to play inside? Whoever they get, needs to step up into that role. And they got somebody that can fill in both spots. And that's what you want from your second round pick, right? So, what's up, Jerry? Hashtag smile to get into the second. Oh, MTA is a train. Oh, okay, Steve. Thank you. I'm like, what the fuck's an MTA? Hashtag smile to get into the second set of giveaways. Again, for those that have joined, I'm putting together a free Faithfully fantasy squad. First come, first serve. It is going to be for prizes. First, second, third place will get prizes. So let me know in chat if you want to join. If you watch back on replay and you want to join and you are on Twitter, DM me. Let me know that you want to join. If you're not on Twitter, email me, Miriah, MIRIAH 35@gmail.com. Please put in the subject line something about fantasy squad, fantasy, whatever, so that I'm able to find your email. First come, first serve. It's currently 12-person league, and it's on the NFL fantasy app. All right. Hashtag smile. Get in there. We're going to draw right after we talk about this stud, King Puni. Put some respect on his name, Dominic Puni. Come on. This guy, not only is he making the 53, he's going to be a starter on the 53. And shout out to him because, you know, kind of like little similar to the Green situation, although it wasn't when we drafted him, we didn't have a specific, you know, necessarily a need at his spot, but during, you know, training camp and whatnot, that need became available due to injuries, and he came in, and it don't matter if those guys are healthy as could be, they're not getting their job back. And that's right there what you love to see in the NFL, because that it's all about opportunities, you know, and he got the opportunity and he took full fucking advantage of that
Yeah.
and didn't look back. You know, Kyle already, you know, was on a KMBR and it said, you know, that he's the starting you know, that he's going to be a starter on this team. So, you know, don't expect anything else. He's been fucking money, like so good throughout the preseason. And obviously, you know, you're hoping to see that throughout the regular season going against, you know, number one starters. But from all accounts, he's going to have no problems because, and even Kyle said, you know, what you saw from him in college has translated to practice, has translated to preseason games. And, you know, he's just been a total stud. And what's your thoughts on Mr. Puni?
Oh, man, everybody else, funny people were talking about giving him a nickname, and it was like, man, it's kind of hard, you know, to give him one. So I have one in mind, but you know, I'm gonna have to clean it up a little bit. But anyway, what impresses me is his footwork. Like I remember this last game where he was just he dominated his man, threw him to the ground, and did this little spin move to help out on the right tackle side. Like that dude is just amazing. He's a mauler. Like he just goes in there. He takes no crap from nobody. I love this kid. Like, you know, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't think he'd be as good as he was going to be this early, but man, this dude is just an absolute stud, you know, and he's just, yeah, the way he's been playing, he deserves that spot at the right guard spot. And I don't know what's going to happen with Spencer Burford. I don't know if they're going to start trying him more on the, you know, as on the right tackle to compete with Colton McKivitz or what, but man, TL the clean version. Yeah, but so yeah, JV, I think you can understand where I'm getting at because of his last name, but I digress. But anyway, but yeah, I love this kid, and I'm just glad that finally, like you know, that's one thing you and I talked about, Mariah, how like man, like you know, we always draft these offensive linemen later, and they hardly ever pan out. Like the Colton McKivitz is just all these guys, man. You know, but you know, finally we got us Aaron Banks in round two, and now we got us a good guard in the third round. You know, to go to the right guard spot where them two can play years with each other, kind of like we had with Anthony Davis and Mike Yapati. Even though Yapati was a tackle, but two offensive linemen that are young that can be playing with each other and have some chemistry down for years to come. So I love the pick.
And you know what's nice is that all last season we struggled running to the right side. We always had to run to the freaking left side behind Trent Williams. When Trent Williams was out that 3 games, the run game was the huge thing that freaking struggled because you couldn't run to the left and you couldn't run to the freaking right.
Yep.
And now through the preseason, like you look, Jordan Mason, most of his runs are going to the right side behind freaking Puni. And then Puni out there freaking, you know, shoving Mason into the end zone 2 games now to get touchdowns. Like that's shit you love to see, like his effort, you know, like he can get his guy the block, whatever, and like his effort doesn't stop. He just keeps going and going and going until, you know, and the whistle calls, okay, he's done. Like that's the kind of guys you love to see on this team.
All right. I don't know if you remember him, Mariah. That was a guy we drafted years ago, like probably, you know, over a decade ago, named David Boss, and he was a guard. He reminds me of that guy so much. Just his build, the way he moves, everything. So yeah, I think it's an excellent pick.
All right. What's up, Jess? I see you. 49er Media. What's good? Hashtag smile. Make sure you're in the giveaway we're drawing right now. I'm going to draw Jair Brown first and then Debo. Good luck. And I'm so thankful to StreamYard for getting this giveaway thing set up the correct way. That now it finally works I can be streaming with another content creator and it works from their platform and our platform at the same time. Even just when we're by ourselves, it works great, and it makes it so much easier than how we had to do it in the old days with the freaking numbers and took up so much damn time. So good luck. This is for Jair Brown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree, Collie. The Jalen Moores and Nick Sakelj and all these other guys, it just has not panned out, man. JV.
JV done being a loser.
You're always a winner in my book, JV.
That's what all dads have to say to their sons.
I know the men are dominating right now.
Yeah. Wake up, ladies. Shit. All right. This is for Debo. Good luck.
Oh,
there you go.
They stepped up.
Amy, congrats. Thank you for standing up for the ladies.
Came and stole one from the guys.
Amy Ramos. Amy, and also Jay, this is both your guys' first times winning. Are you guys on Twitter, X, whatever you call it these days? Let me know. Congrats to all the winners so far. I'll get the next one set up. Let me get these rookies pulled back up here. All right. Okay, Amy, so DM me your mailing info. I'm currently working on giveaways, so you actually won at the perfect time because you won't have to be waiting forever like everybody else. So once the people that I'm working on, once I get theirs out, you'll fall in line right behind them. And then I'll always DM you, or those that email me. I always email before I send, like as I'm putting it into the mail, I'll let you know that yours is on your way, so that you're not just blindly looking out for something that's not coming. All right, so we got not you yet, Isaac. Calm down. All right, Malik Mustafa. Obviously, you guys know, one of my favorite draft picks. Such a freaking stud. I can't wait. Like, I'm so excited for this safety room, for this cornerback room. The most excited I've been for this defense in a while. And this guy, there's no way that he's not making this team. He's definitely going to be on that field very soon into the season. I wouldn't, it all depends really on Hufanga, right? Like,
absolutely.
When we get Hufanga back. If he's not, time's ticking down, and he hasn't. There's no reports that Hufanga has joined practice yet or anything. So, who knows if he's going to be ready for week 1. If he's not, then I would expect to see Mustafa on the field against the Jets. Thoughts?
Yeah. So he is my favorite draft pick. I love his, and what you'll notice about me, I love guys that I have that like old school mentality. Like, he's just a thumper, man. He sits there and he'll lay that hat to you. He's how you were saying, Miriah, how we haven't been excited for a long time for the safety room. Gets me almost as excited with Jair Brown, Hufanga, and Mustafa, like when we had Deshaun Goldson and Dante Whitner. Two physical guys that scare you coming over the middle, that you got to think twice and make a business decision about catching that football. So I love him. And I love the fact too that it's funny because my favorite 49er growing up of all time is Ronnie Lott. He's a huge fan of Ronnie Lott. He even picked the number 43 because he couldn't have number 42, because that's the closest he can get to that number. So everybody keeps saying, "No, it's an ugly number." I hope he keeps it. Like, I hope he
Yeah.
keeps it. If that's what he wants to wear, I know it's not an ideal, it's not a sexy number when you look at it, but man, I don't care what number he wears as long as he's out there laying people out and playing the safety position the right way. You know, I love this guy. And as far as making the 53, absolutely. And it's great that
Yeah.
we have said that for our first 4 draft picks.
Yeah. Yeah. Amy, email me. There's the info right there. Thank you. And Jay, same for you. If you're not on Twitter or X, there's the email info, and then just put in there something about giveaway so that I'm able to search for the email and find it. Appreciate it. All right. Next up. Now, this was one for a minute that I was kind of getting worried about because we hadn't, he got hurt. And there's other running backs on this team. There's a numbers game here. So, if you're hurt and they're not seeing anything from you, it kind of makes it hard, right? To, cut a guy that's been showing up and showing out. But luckily, Isaac is healthy now. He played in this last preseason game. He had a hell of a return. That speed came into play. He estimated it that he ran, over like 140 yards on that play, going back and forth and up and around. And he said, by the end of it, he just got so tired that, his legs, they gave out on him. But you could definitely see that play. I mean, that speed coming into play there. And that's something, that's been talked about is he has the size of a real running back at, 220 pounds,
Huge,
yet
yeah.
he runs a freaking 4.4, so he's hella fast for being so big.
Yes.
And, they talked about on the broadcast, that, well, obviously they weren't saying it before he had the return, right? But after he had the return, then they're saying, oh, well, he's like the perfect person for the new like return rules and all this, because he has the size to be able to bully guys and he has the speed to be able to, as soon as you break out, past that first row of guys, you're gone, right? So I definitely, and not only did he have that, but when he got touches during like in the game as well, he did great with them as well. So I think that there's no way that Isaac is not making this team. However, there is still a numbers game in play here, and I'm still on it. Well, we're going to talk, about the roster, but I'm still in the same position that I am the minute Isaac got drafted, that you try your best to trade what's his face?
Elijah Mitchell.
Yep. Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah. David McNider kind of hit the nail on the head what I was going to say. He'll make the team as our kick return specialist, I believe. As a running back, I'm not too impressed that much, but I feel like as he gets more reps
Well,
and
yeah, it's
starts,
his first game.
as long as he starts learning the plays and stuff like that. I mean, he averaged like 2.6 yards a carry. That obviously that's going to get better. Coming back and stuff like that. Once he gets more familiar with the offensive schemes, stuff like that, I think he'll be better. But I think, yeah, for sure, I think he makes a team. We haven't had, man, I haven't been impressed with our return game in such a long time. Like it's just been
I've
like
been praying for this, you
I
guys.
remember. I remember when we had Ted Ginn, when they punted off to him or kicker, I'd be at the edge of my seat. Like, what's gonna happen? This guy's gonna, because he was such a game breaker. Not saying Isaac Grindel's there yet, but he gives me that hope that once he gets in the groove and gets healthier and stuff like that, that he's going to, be that type of guy. And I think you're right. I think he's a sub 4.4 guy. I think he's like
Yeah,
4.38 or 4.39 or something. So yeah, dude, like you said, has the speed, has the physicality, has the size. I mean, dude, for like you said, for being 220 and just being that fast is crazy. So yeah, let's just hope he can stay healthy. And yeah, if he's healthy, like you said, it's a numbers game. Much as I love Elijah Mitchell, you're right. Like if we can get some value for him, let's go ahead and do it. So yeah, Isaac Grindle, he makes 53 men to me for sure.
Yeah. Like you said, I like Elijah Mitchell too, but it's like having a freaking Tasmanian devil in the china shop, you know. Sooner or later that Tasmanian devil is going to knock over all this shit and it's going to break. You know, like he might be healthy now, but it's just a matter of time before he gets in there and gets a game full of reps. And you know, like you can't count on him to be healthy, unfortunately.
No.
He put on weight, he did all this to try to, you know, help it, and nothing has worked. So it's
You know what's so
unfortunate.
funny? Yeah, you know what's so funny? I remember when he was in college, you know, he shared the running back responsibilities and didn't get a lot of carries. Sometimes that could be a hindrance because sometimes your body hasn't built up that stamina or whatever that, and learn that physicality of being able to get hit on a regular basis. You know what I mean? So could be like he wasn't. It was sometimes it's a hindrance when they're overused, but sometimes when you're not used enough and getting used to that punishment and stuff like that, especially against guys in college and you come to the NFL, sometimes it doesn't work out. He told you and I when we met him in Vegas that he was putting on more muscle to be able to withstand the punishment he has as far as the weight wise, but the punishment still hasn't gotten used to it. So sucks that he keeps getting hurt because when he plays, the dude's a dog, 6 yards a
Yeah.
carry, like he's a force. But to be able to make plays, you got to stay on that field.
Yep. You know, we're talking about obviously return game, and you can't talk about the return game without mentioning Cowing. Another one started off, you know, the practices and stuff injured, and it's kind of like, great, both of our wide receivers are hurt, the ones we just drafted, we got one sitting out over there, like what a freaking mess, right? But Cowing came back, it's been healthy, played both of these last preseason games, really stepped it up. And, you know, all the quarterbacks have talked highly of him. And the return game, like you said, like, man, this return game has been so shit. Like we changed coaches. It's time to change coaches again. Let me just put that out there. But with that being said, like we have had nobody for the freaking return game, like so bad so that they went out and freaking signed washed up Trent fucking Taylor because it was just like, okay, well, if one of these guys doesn't step up as a returner, like we got to have something. We have to have some backup plan, right? And luckily, Trent Taylor hit the fucking door. Deuces, buddy. We don't need you. Cowing's making the team.
Yes. I mean, to be honest, obviously we know what we have in our starters and what we got in Jennings. He's been the best guy out there. Even more impressive to me than Chris Conley, who's been getting a lot of traction to making this team. He just looks great. Like who I compare. That's a pretty decent comp, Conley and Tyler Lockett. To me, right now, if you go back to Kyle and his Atlanta days, he had this receiver similar size, similar speed, and Taylor Gabriel, who he used a lot to stretch the field. I think he finally has gotten his Taylor Gabriel, who he's been looking for. However, Jacob Cowing to me could possibly be even better than that. He's more physical, he blocks, and like I said, he's 5'8", 170 something pounds. He's a little guy, but man, he plays with that dog in him. He's not scared to get hit. I love this guy. I'm on the shorter side. I'm only 5'8.5". So when I see smaller guys like that, like the Steve Smith seniors and the Antonio Browns of the world that are like smaller, but they have that dog in them. I love seeing that type of stuff. And Cowing is who I see, and is another one. It's good to see that we've gone through all these draft picks and we're shooting 100% from the field so far as who we think is going to make this team.
Yeah. Cowing, he plays bigger than his size. Like he's
Most
a dog.
definitely.
He fits a like when we always talk about, what a 49er is, Jacob Cowing fits what a 49er is. And shout out to media. He goes to Arizona where Jacob Cowing went. And he says, he told all your asses that Jacob Cowing was a dog. He said, you should have listened to him, but you guys didn't. So, he's always right and you guys are wrong. So sorry for you. All right, next. We're getting into some scary territory now. We got O-line, Jarrett Kingston, straight out from USC, drafted in round 6. I don't know. I can't say I've seen too much that's really stuck out. I think, this is definitely a guy, if he doesn't make the 53 as a backup, you're trying to get back onto the practice squad so that you can work with him and he can eventually fill into one of those roles. I'm just not sure, I really would have to sit down with like the O-line numbers and figure it out and see, if there's how many ever O-line guys that much better than him to make the roster. But I just don't think he's done enough one way or another to really, for me to say yes or no, really. I just think, this again comes down to numbers, comes down to we need guys that if one of our starting 5 go down that can step up and fill in. And I just don't know if Kingston's ready for that yet.
Yeah, this is where it's finally starting to get tough. Where it's like one of those, and it's awesome. We're down to round 6, and we're still scratching our heads if somebody's going to be able to make the team. Because it used to didn't be like that. We used to be like, man, these third day picks are definitely going straight to practice squad. That was always our mentality, straight to practice squad. Now, I don't know. Our offensive line is so up and down, and is Jalen Moore, is he better than him? I don't really don't think so. You know what I mean? Like, so you look at these guys, man, it's tough. I'm gonna say he barely misses it. The cutoff for the 53 man, however, he might be poached quicker than later
Yeah.
if he goes to that practice squad. So we need to be careful. And like I said, it goes down. It's gonna come down to like experience and all this other stuff. And it's all about obviously with Kyle, it's all about trust. You know what I mean? As much as we don't like Colton McKivitz, a lot of us sit here and say, like, oh, why is he here? Why is he a starter? He's a backup at best. Kyle and them think different. They can sign into a 1-year, $7 million contract because he looks at it as this is the right tackle that I gone with all year who helped me get to a Super Bowl. So I don't know. I'm gonna say he doesn't make it and he goes to the practice squad. However, I think like I said, they better be careful. And this year, I read somewhere, tell me if I'm wrong, Miriah or anybody on the chat, did they extend the final roster? Because somebody was saying on the time the other day that it's now up to 56. Is that true?
I don't know. Could be.
I'm about to find that out. If it comes down, if it's 56, then I say he makes it. But if it's 53, I'm gonna say he's on that bubble.
Yeah, definitely interesting to see how they go with the O-line. Because like you said, 56 on active game days. Used to be 55.
Oh, okay.
That's that's nothing to do with this.
Okay.
So because like you said, there's a lot of these O-line guys that us as fans don't care for, but for some reason, the O-line coach, he rides for his guys, and when he tells Kyle, that's one of my guys. Those two, they like them. What can we do? So as much as we don't want them to make the roster, like I think you see throwback talking about Brendel and obviously other people talking about McKivitz. Like I definitely think both of them are making the roster. So
I do too. Because it's all about chemistry with the quarterback.
Mm-hmm. All right. Hashtag GOAT. To get into the last giveaway, hashtag GOAT to the last giveaways. All right. Linebacker, Tatum Bethune, round 7. This is another one where, it's going to be tough because you're coming down to a numbers game. And this is one of the groups, where they draft and they do well with.
Absolutely.
So, Bethune has had some great plays, but you have, remember, 2 young guys that we just drafted last season that are also fighting for these last roster spots. So I can't think that Bethune is going to make the roster over the other young guys that we just drafted. At the same time, I don't think he makes it back to the practice squad either. So if there's one of like DFF or I don't care for him, but he's another one where the coaches like him and he keeps sticking around, So, if it's up to me, I'm trading DFF away and you're keeping your young talent, but obviously it ain't up to me. So Bethune is another one of these guys where, like Kingston, I think he's right there on the bubble and it's going to come down to a numbers game. And did the guys fighting for those spots, do more than he did to earn those spots? They have obviously playing time from last season as well to go off of. And Bethune doesn't, So I don't know what you think about Tatum.
I like him. And kind of agree with 49er media. Other than Flanagan Falls, another one they can trade is Robinson. You said this right before you started discussing him. One thing the 49ers are excellent as, no matter what regime, no matter who's in charge, we can draft some linebackers. We're just amazing. That's probably the position I trust the most when it comes to drafting. I don't know what it is. Their scouting for linebackers are epic because they bring in undrafted guys, late round guys, and they succeed here. I remember a couple years ago, I don't remember the guy's name that we had that was on the bubble. We ended up trading him for like a 6th round pick to the Colts because he was doing so well. And they were like, man, we need to get something for this guy before the final 53-man cuts because he's that good. So yeah, if it was up to me, I mean, we got Campbell, who's already, a stud at linebacker, who's there. You got D Winters, you got what's the other guy's name? Jalen Graham. So if it's a numbers game, I'd probably keep Bethune, get rid of Robinson and Flanagan Foles but I think Bethune is going to be one of those guys who's going to make the team. Start off on the 53-man, and as soon as oh my God, Dre Greenlaw, couldn't think of his name. As soon as Dre Greenlaw comes back, he's going to be put on the practice squad, I think, and then they'll probably try to stash him. But hey, yeah, our linebacking core can't go wrong with this. People just know how to step in, and it's like don't skip a beat sometimes. So yeah, I think he makes it, but like I said, it's gonna be for a short time until Drake Greenlaw comes back, and then they'll put him to the PS.
Interesting. I
Yep.
definitely think they like Robinson more than what you guys are giving him credit for, but that's another
No, I
topic
do,
for
and
another
that's why
day.
I said I think they trade him if they can. Like I think if somebody calls and say, "Hey, let me get you a sixth or whatever," I think they do it. Like I said, I don't remember the guy's name for the Colts that one year, but he was undrafted out of South Carolina State, I believe, and then he was good. And I was like, man, I hate to lose this guy. He won't last on the practice squad. Then like a week before the draft, a week before the week one, they traded him to the Colts for draft capital, and they didn't even and he was undrafted, so it was a win-win.
Yep. All
Yeah.
right. Final giveaway for those that weren't here at the beginning is going to be we got the art of the two goats here, signed by the artist and numbered. We have Brock Purdy, quarterback Kings. And then the final winner will get both of these. Got Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, Best Tutties, and CMC Prismatic. So the final winner will get both of those. Hashtag go to get in there. Good luck, everybody. So we're running out of time to do the whole roster thing. So yeah, we're probably not going to do a show before they actually make the 53-man cuts. So it is what it is because we took too much time talking about the rookies. But is are there any players that you want to talk about real quick that you think either were right on the bubble and either did enough through the preseason games to make the roster or did enough to secure their spot out the door?
No, I think the two receivers that we might lose, especially if we keep Ayuk. Ayuk is like the factor here in the wide receiver room. The receiver to me, the receivers and the DBs are going to be the hardest cuts to me, from my opinion. But yeah, as far me as a Wolverines fan, I hate to see him struggle. But I think Ronnie Bell, who I thought they'd probably keep, might be gone. He just been struggling with the dropsies, and it's crazy to me because I just feel like, man, like I seen him play in person. The man is good. There's
Mm-hmm.
Chris Rouse. I mean, he just when Ayuk was hurt last year, he did pretty good in that Giants game, scored a touchdown. So he has what it takes. I'm just worried that he's gonna get cut. Danny Gray's probably gonna get cut. Um, Danny Gray, I feel like him and both Bell will be picked up. I think Bell faster. I tell you what though, I think Bell, and I tweeted this. I think if Bell gets cut, you know who's swooping him up immediately, and that's going to be Jim Harbaugh for
Yeah,
the Chargers.
of
He's going to
course.
swoop him up. He's going to swoop him up because that's his guy. He recruited him at Michigan. He knows his offense, and I can see him actually doing well and being kind of beneficial. Maybe with a change of scenery. But
I
yeah,
wish
I
they would
think
try to
Bell.
trade him. Try
Yeah,
to
I hope
trade
so
him
too.
over there before you freaking
Yeah.
cut him for
Oh, I
nothing.
hope so too. And that's with all players who are good. And that's what like 49er Media said. His blocking is good. He just having trouble with the dropsies right now. But like I said, that could be in his head right now. Who knows? That's one thing about a receiver. You can't let that stuff get in your head because then it's always gonna be on your mind and you're
Mhm.
gonna have them mental lapses. So
It goes
yeah, I
from
think
they let it go
yeah.
from they carry it from one game to the next game to the next
Yeah. And it's
game
just like,
instead
man,
of
it's
just
like,
leaving it. Like they need to
yeah,
learn to fucking wash that shit, flush it and
absolutely.
move on.
Same thing with the quarterback and an interception, a corner when you give up a touchdown. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like you can't let that get into your head. You got to be mentally tough. And Bell right now, as far as he does everything well, he runs good routes. He can block what you want. It's just his catching ability. So, Puni, dang. Uh, that's pretty close to mine. But anyway, but yeah, so yeah, I think DFF is gone. Who can probably be swooped? He might be swooped up by one of these older coaches
Hey
that have
Kenny.
left us. But yeah, Bell, Gray, and one of these corners, like I don't know, there might be. I mean, I'm not gonna be surprised for Embry Thomas for sure. But like Womack, all these guys, I think they're gonna make it, but wouldn't be surprised me if they didn't because of the Rocky Sands and these other
Mhm.
guys and stuff. Luter's been pretty good. I don't know, it's tough, but yeah, the two main guys though, I'm gonna go Gray and Bell.
Yeah, John Lynch had mentioned it in his last press conference or whatever interview on KNBR and had said that, and who knows if this is true, he might just be talking out of his ass, but I mean, it is true when you think about it, that, he says that other GMs, his other friend GMs in the league are always telling him, like, we wish we had the problems that you guys have. No, you have all this talent. And yeah, you have all these tough decisions to make, but it's because you have all this talent and you guys are so good, right? So I'd much rather, us be here trying to discuss who we're going to lose on the bubble and if they're going to make it, be able to make it back to the practice squad and whatnot, because we're so talented. Or, I'd much rather have that than be like some of these other teams where they're trying to discuss, like, oh my God, these guys are so bad. How can we even decide who's making the 53? Like,
Hmm.
complete opposite scenario. So
Yep.
I'll take this side of the scenario any freaking day of
Every
the week.
time. Yep. Every
um,
time.
Kenny, hashtag GOAT to get into the last giveaway we're about to draw right now. Hashtag GOAT. Any surprise cuts, chat, that you think are going to happen? I know if Melissa was here, she would say Juice.
She would say Kyle Juszczyk
So I'll let you
Peyton
guys
Willis.
know that Melissa thinks Juice will be the surprise cut.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Oh, shit.
receiver room is so deep, man. It's crazy. Like if Chris
But
Conley
still,
is your sixth receiver, that's great. You said what now? Yeah.
the thing is that the wide receiver room is deep, but it's still not good and deep enough that it's going to overcome the loss of Brandon Ayuk, I think.
Absolutely.
Like, we're going to be
And like
taking
yeah,
4 wide receivers and try to
to
band-aid them
equal
all
one.
together to
Yeah.
create one.
Be like, I need his blocking, his route running, his hands, his playmaking. You know what I mean? You can't. It's hard to lose that guy. But if he stays, I love it because if he stays, I got Debo,
Mhm.
Ayuk, Jennings, Pearsall, Cowan, and Conley. That would be my 6 because usually they keep 6.
If he stays, if we pay Ayuk, this is the best wide receiver room I think we've had in
In a
Shanahan's
long,
tenure.
yes, absolutely. Yep.
So hopefully we get Brandon Ayuk paid. Obviously, we saw he was at the Raiders game. traveled with the
losing BA?
team.
I don't know, Sin. I'm still 50-50 on it.
All right. Hashtag goats. If you're not in there, last call because we're drawing. All right. I'm going to draw Purdy first, and then I'll draw the artwork, and then the final winner of the double winner. So good luck. This is for Brock Purdy, Kings.
Don.
Congrats. Ladies are making a comeback. Finish strong, ladies. Come on. All right. This is for the art. Good luck. Niakila. Congrats. And then I know as well, this is your first time winning. So if you're on Twitter, you can DM me on there, preferably. But if you're not, you can email me at Miriah35@gmail.com. And then just put in the subject line or somewhere in there, that it's for a giveaway. And yeah, just send me your mailing info and I'll get it out to you in the order.
35 your favorite number?
Yeah, that's been like my number since I was in like junior high. We'd use it like on pagers as like to know your code or whatever, like to know it's from you. Like that was always my number. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right. This is for the double winner. Got the best tutties for Bosa and Warner, and we got the CMC. So good luck. Media. Woohoo! Congrats. This is for you, winners. All right. Any closing thoughts? Anything else before we get out of here?
No. Only like we were talking about. This team has been as deep as it has been in a long time. This is one of the drafts that I finally, or like even though some of the names weren't sexy, and that doesn't matter. We need to look at the impact, and it looks like, you and I sat here and struggled, about who was going to make this team after the first like 6-7 picks, which is a great thing to do. We went 6 or 7 straight picks saying, oh, they're going to make this team, and then we struggled with the last 3. So that's a great thing that we're at a point where, like, man, our roster, and it's always been a good roster. We're not saying it hasn't, but what we're saying is to the point where now even rookies that we're drafting, then now we're like, man, it's going to be hard to see if they're going to, they're on the bubble or whatever the case may be. So yeah, and I think before we do the cuts, I think we might see 1 or 2 trades. I think Elijah Mitchell could be one of them, and I think Ronnie Bell could be another. So, yeah.
Yeah. Congrats to all the winners, everybody that came through. We appreciate you for spending your Sunday afternoon with us. You guys know, those that know me know this show is very bright and early for me. Because, to plan, well, I had I cover the Aces as well. So I had an Aces game this morning, started at freaking 9 o'clock.
And
so I had to wake up for that. Huh?
They won, right?
Yeah. So I had to wake up for that, and I had to prepare for the show, do the artwork, do all that shit. So I had to wake up nice, bright and early after going to sleep at 4 o'clock this morning. So yeah, you guys are
Uh,
lucky that I'm even made it with one eye
you
open.
blessed us with your presence at
Yep.
noon.
Yep.
Yeah, Kenny, it's funny. I think Ambry, I don't know about that. He's been looking terrible for the last couple of years, which you hate to see. I can see somebody like Dallas calling us about Elijah Mitchell because their running back room is the worst in the NFL.
Trey
My
Lance is the
late
best running back on the team.
I mean, he definitely is, which is sad. That running back room is terrible. Ezekiel Elliott, I mean, it's terrible. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they gave us a call and Bell, like I said, if we can't get a trade for him, it might be the best thing for him because he can pick his situation if other teams call. And I think, like I said, I really do believe that if we cut this man, Jim Harbaugh's gonna be calling. Hey Bill, come play for me. You know my scheme. I worked with you for 4 years in Michigan. I recruited you. And then, hey, like I said, sometimes
And
it
they need
changes
wide
the scenery.
receivers.
And they need receiver. They got Lad McConkey, who's a rookie. They don't, they lost their best weapon in Keelan
Mm-hmm.
Allen, and they lost Austin Eckler. So they need weapons over there. So yeah.
Yeah. Just a reminder for those that weren't here at the beginning, maybe you didn't hear, I am starting a free Faithfully Fantasy Squad, 12 men and women. It's on the NFL Fantasy app. Like I said, it's for free, but first place, second place, and third place will all get prizes. So if you want to join, first come, first serve. Let me know in the chat right now if you're here and you want to join. If you're watching on replay or you think about it, in the next couple days and want to join, DM me on Twitter or email me at mariah35@gmail.com. Put in the subject line fantasy squad or something about fantasy so I'm able to search it and find it. And once we get it filled up, then, we're set. So yeah, it's on the NFL Fantasy app. Kenny.
Perfect.
But yeah, we appreciate you all for being here. Everybody that watches back on replay, appreciate you all as well. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend so we can continue to grow the channel. Greatly appreciate it. Much love. Everybody have a safe, wonderful rest of your weekend. I'll be back tomorrow with Ty to talk about the Aces. So we'll see you then. We're out of here.
All right, fam. Take care.